Welcome back to Cloudy with a Chance of Faygo. I think it's episode 6, but I really don't know. This is the most inconsistent podcast in the galaxy, and we plan to keep it that way.
Damn
I'm
straight.
Dopey. This
I'm
is
Necrotic. Howdy.
and I'm smoking on an infused pre-roll that is Marionberry lemonade flavor. I don't see the percentage on this bitch at all. Probably because it's infused.
Because it's off the charts. You're about to get so baked.
So they have the percentages in milligrams instead of percentages. 252 milligrams of THC in this bitch.
That sounds good as hell.
Should be good. Fucking shit. When last time we talked, had I said that I was going to get Grady to do the mix and master on Low Jams?
You did not tell me this. No, this is new news. So drop that shit.
I got Grady to do the mix and master on Low Jams.
Hell yes.
He sent back the first draft a couple days ago, and it sounds awesome. It's a big project, and he missed a couple stems that he needs to throw in there. And there's some things that I want fixed with the mix, and also some things that I want to re-record, but it sounds pretty dope.
Hell yes. Are you going to
Want to
play
hear it?
Yes, I do. Because actually on break today while I was laying in the grass, I started singing, I want some Violent J, some Jamie Mad Rock, some OG Dog Lotus.
Oh,
So I was going to ask you about that, as a matter of fact. Wish I had like a stand to put this shit on.
Share screen.
Let's see, does this work?
Stage. All right, here we go.
Dopey, it's the homie Alex, man. I'm just saying, I was talking to the Let's, and we don't put enough emphasis on the women sometimes. I was talking to this Let. She was talking about the music got too much new school-ish at the kickback, She drinking gutter water because she thirsty. She done danced back to 1,700 songs. When ain't nobody, really trying to find out what she feeling like. How she feel, You know what she told me? She said, oh. She said she wants some Violent J, some Jamie Mad Drugs, that OG Dark Lotus will definitely set this party off right. She said she want that wizard of the hood, some Faygo Fizzling. We family in this bitch, we finna set this party off right.
Do. Call your crew, I'll call my two. Speakers bumping that old school. Juggalicious super groove. Riders on the speakers bump. Homies chug while puffing up. I'ma touch your mama's rumper. Saggy cheeks gon' make me plump. This face paint on the bone piece. We all got circles round our beast. I got shrooms and LSD. How many blunts? 17. Rotate like a boomerang. Come on, let me hear you sing. I don't need a brain, don't need anything. I just want some homies to smoke with. Me blowing on the road. It's passing bats all back to back like axes and dog loaded. So stack the tracks and kick on back, trip out and explode.
She said she wants some Violent J, some Jamie Mad Drugs, that OG Dark Lotus will definitely set this party off right. She said she want the wizard of the hood, some Faygo Fizzling. We family in this bitch, we finna set this party off right. Moon glorious, chocolate black smoke, yeah. Moon glorious, buttermilk love nuggets, set the party, Lotus set the party off right. Yes it will. I'm joking with juggalos.
play. That's all I'm gonna play right now. But
hell yeah, that's a great first half. I really like the little auto tune deedlies you're doing in the background to the instrumental. That's pretty cool, classic dopey shit.
Yeah.
And the homies to smoke with sounds very meaty. I like it.
Yeah, I do want that to be changed. Yeah, I have a whole stack of notes for him, but that's normally how the process goes. You know, this is the first mix. He blindly put that together with what he thought I was going for, and then now it's time for me to come back to him and tell him what's what. But yeah, no, I'm like genuinely, it sounds like 90% better. It's almost there. It'll probably be done within the month.
Hell yeah. Yeah, because I got the first draft on my desktop right now, and it does crank way harder, I will say.
Yeah, I'm super stoked about it. So that means the Love Pit will be dropping real soon.
Yes.
And then Shutter's right behind.
Now is Shutter almost done as well?
Yeah.
Because I know you've been working on that project for a minute because you want it to be perfect as hell. And
yeah.
that's like pinnacle dopey, I remember you saying. That's like almost, I don't know if I want to say dream project. Is that right? Is that correct?
Yeah, it's the magnum opus.
Yes. The magnum dopeness.
Yeah. Like the first like 10 tracks of the album have no collabs.
Okay.
It's just me, which is pretty rare in my other music because I'm all about working with other people.
Yeah.
But it's just me doing me to the fucking fullest. The bars are thick, quadruple entendres are not uncommon, and fucking yeah, I just got to do some re-recording. Like if you ask my engineer right now, he would tell you that it's ready to be released, but there's just some words, and it's not even full stanzas. There's just some words that could snap harder, and I know I could do it better. And that's because I've been listening to it in the car for a year and a fucking half now. And so I got that bitch down, and I know pockets that I missed and all kinds of stuff. And I've been performing the songs from this album for about a year now too, like on stage. And that's where you really find the pockets. Like, I don't know. That's where I really find the pockets, I guess.
Is it from the audience feedback or just feeling it on stage, like with the flow or like?
Yeah, it's about, you're like fully submerged in what you're doing on stage, or at least I am. Which helps like find that flow, but also you're trying to balance breathing with moving and thinking, you know what I'm saying? And so like my brain naturally always finds like this other like cadence that's just like a hair fucking different, where I'm like, oh shit, this shit comes out a lot smoother, it's a lot easier to say, it's on beat, and it's funky.
Yeah. And like a lot of it, like you were saying, there's like a split second where like even if your breath is in like a different spot, if you miss the breath or something, it'll change up the entire flow in the next 4 bars, you know?
100%.
Yeah. 100%. And speaking of that Kung Fu Vampire show, did you play those songs on Kung Fu Vampire? How did that show go? Did you get, I saw the video. It was dope as fuck.
Yeah, I was real upset with the homie for fucking trying to rap along while he was filming it. That shit was driving me crazy. I was like, bro, if you're gonna fucking rap along, like, know the words. You know what I'm saying? If you're filming, I don't give a shit if you're in the crowd just vibing, trying to rap along. That's totally cool. But if I hand you my phone and it's on live stream, and that's my one recording of the set, shut the fuck up.
And they got their mouths right up against the speakers, so it's like.
But yeah, I mean, it was a kung fu show, so I did all the juggalo shit that I never do at all the other shows, and which is always the best. So I had a really good time, but there was a show a little bit before that. I forgot who I was. It might have just been a bunch of locals, but I forgot the whole second verse to a song, and I freestyled it, and fucking I freestyled the whole verse, and the crowd didn't even know it wasn't part of the song. I fucking murdered it.
Hell yeah, dude! That's some real MC shit right there.
Yeah, that's my favorite. I used to do that shit all the time back in the day because it was hard for me to remember my lyrics. But like now I've got those so down. It's been a long time since I've been in that situation. I was real proud of myself for being able to pull that out of my fucking backpack and ride it to the end.
Hell yeah, dude. See, I got to go in with like, if I go off the cuff, I can do it. But like my stage presence is all off because I usually like, practice what I'm going to do on stage while I'm spitting, So it's like if I miss something, that's like, oh shit, now I'm just doing a weird ass dance on stage, just fucking like the blocking's all off and shit. Yeah. And like usually people can't tell, but I can tell, and that's what bugs me. But no, dude, you killed that shit.
But yeah, in that instance that I was talking about, it's fucking hilarious if you watch the video, because my lady's filming and she listens to my music as much as I do. And so I fucking walk off the stage and up to her and I'm like, how does the next verse go? Like, how does it start?
Yeah.
And she's like, what? And I'm like, how does the next verse start? I can't remember. And she's like, I can't hear you. And I was like, fuck. And so I go on stage and then I'm like, I can't remember how the verse goes. And I just start fucking freestyling. It's super good, dude.
Fuck yeah, dude. So who else was on that show besides you and Kung Fu?
Bunch of locals.
Bunch of local dudes.
Shout out to Poverty's poster boy. I'm making music videos for him right now. So he's keeping my pockets nice and lined. I like that. And put me on shows. The other people who performed, I can't remember what they go by now. They've gone by like 5 different names in the last fucking 10 years. And they're good people, but on the internet, they're kind of shitty.
Okay.
So I stay away from them.
Fair.
Like we've been to festivals together, like little organ festivals together, and when we do those things, we do normally camp near each other and we spend all night by the fire having good conversations. So I'm not saying that they're bad people, but like
of course not.
when I see them outside of those, like when I see them on the internet, I guess on Facebook, it's always really negative or a bunch of drama, and so I really try to steer clear of that.
Right. Well, I mean, like, not talking about those people in general, but usually when people get behind a keyboard, they get a little more ballsy than they should, and they forget what it's like to be punched in the face. So then they start acting out of turn,
Yeah, that's true. I'll probably have to confront some people when I gather, or they'll have to confront me, I guess.
Yeah, I know there was that one dude who was talking mad shit on you and your fans, or people who listen to you. There was some Facebook fucking thing I remember seeing.
Huh. Yeah, I don't ever remember those, but like way back in the day, I really can't remember the situation, but it was like my peak troll years. It had to have been like 2019.
Yeah.
Some kid was like talking mad fucking shit, and so I went to his profile to like make a meme out of like a picture of him. Yeah. And like he had a bunch of pictures of him laying next to his mom's grave. And I took it too far. I took it too far. And that kid wants to stab me. Mm-hmm. And he does gather every year. And I'm just really hoping I could convince him down from a stabbing to an ass beating that I deserve. I'll take it. I'm not saying I fucked up, dog. That's me.
You might have fucked up really hard on that one. You don't deserve to get stabbed, but you might deserve an ass whooping. I love you, but you might get an ass whooping for that one.
Yeah, that's totally called for. I mean, like it only took me like, dude, it happened and I forgot it happened, and then a year later he hit me up and he was like, "You gathering this year?" And I was like, "Maybe." He was like, "Good, I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna fuck you up." I was like, why? I don't even know you. And then he sent me the screenshots from the stuff. Mm-hmm. He was like, you do know me, and I'll never forget you. And I was like, fuck.
Well, it's like, I think we talked on either the shit show or 17 Bulls, where it's like, you go hard in the paint sometimes when people get at you. And that's like, true. I think it's pretty funny, but you don't realize you're taking it, past their line or whatever. But then it comes up later. Because we always do that thing where it's like we shouldn't say names, and usually when we say we shouldn't say names, it's because either we fucked up real bad or they fucked up real bad.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say names if I'm the one who fucked up. You know what I'm saying? But like if I think somebody else is being shitty, and I haven't fully confronted them, then I'm not gonna say no names.
True.
But yeah, I think I've seen you post shit about doing shows. You've been doing shows lately?
I did the God, what the fuck was it? Why am I blanking on fucking names right now? But I did HB's Tenebrious Trio. Shout out HB, Face Tat Mommy, La Perp, Jinx the Preacher, Big Sherm, everybody on that show, y'all fucking killed it. and it was my first show sober, and I fucking murdered that shit. I murdered that shit so hard. Did I forget lyrics? Yes. But at one point, fucking my first song I ever wrote, Trailer Park Tragedy, some homie came up on stage and started like breaking down, dancing to it like super hard next to me, and I felt the vibe. It was super cool. My new lady was there cheering me on. That shit was sweet. But I had like so many people come up after and ask for me to sign shit. They followed me on Spotify, showed me so much love. That usually I never get that much love at shows. I get a few people who are like, yeah, sure, whatever. They're like, yeah, you were cool or whatever. But this time I actually practiced. I had all my shit down pat. I hit the fucking high note as falsetto at the end of Merciless and blew that shit out of the water, to where people from that show ended up coming to the next show, the Jaeger World Order Scum show. Shout out to SP, y'all rule. And fucking Brimstone Labs, my people. But fucking, they even came to that show and they're like, yeah, we saw you at the last one and we wanted to keep coming to see you and support. So that was cool too. And I on this, I never thought I'd say I'm thankful for having a tether, but you know, it's kept me out of trouble and kept me on my A game in terms of rapping. And it feels good to not suck at what I do now. Is that whole last year, like almost all of last year, after I biffed the fucking Grotesque Burlesque show, which I usually kill, fucking I just was on the downslope of being a really bad rapper. Very, very piss poor rapper, walking off after 2 songs, getting all pissed, being all paranoid, thinking fucking people were booing me and all this other shit because too many uppers. That'll do that to you.
Oh yeah, no, there's like, I mean, I bet it's been fucking half a decade at least, but like, I missed a lot of opportunities because I went from the show straight to the car to do some fucking lines. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's just like, where's this dude at?
Yeah, no, for real. I've got back into the venue and my friends were like, yo, the fucking headliner was just looking for you. They were like really like into your set. Where were you at? And I'm like, I was outside.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, and then I feel too geeked out to like walk up to the headliner and be like, hey, what's up? I heard you were looking for me or some fucking weird shit. And so, yeah, that's probably what helped me quit too. That, and I just fucking felt like I was dying.
That's it too, dude. That feeling, and then like the paranoia got real bad with me. I still have the psychosis symptoms sometimes. I had to look it up. It takes almost a year for cocaine psychosis to get out of your body, because you know, fucking, like months ago when I relapsed or whatever. It's
that
like
makes sense, dude.
Yeah, dude. Because like, then once you relapse, you like reset the clock, and it's like you fuck up those neural pathways in your head again. So it's like, you know, even like. After that, when I would take an Adderall or something, you know, fucking, I would still, because of the upper, I would still start to fucking hear that shit again or whatever. And I was like, dude, I gotta stop this shit before I fucking tank everything, because I'm already at like the bottom of my rung. I'm just getting my car back, you know, just now getting my fucking life back into fucking shape. So it's like, if I fucking fuck that up now, then I'm probably on the downslope to living under a bridge like Anthony Kiedis. So it's like fucking. It's either now or never, really.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but I was weird as fuck for about a year after I quit, dude. It took me a minute to feel normal. And then I remember getting depressed about it, like feeling like, oh, I'm never going to feel normal again. You know what I'm saying? And then, like, eventually I just, like, woke up one day and I was just, like, back to me again, I guess.
Yeah,
less
it definitely
paranoid,
takes time.
more calm. Sometimes, though, like, because I do have anxiety, I like to put myself in situations where it gives me anxiety, because then I know where the anxiety is coming from.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I started reading this. Well, I never realized how much I used to lie to myself and other people, because, you know, when you're on drugs, usually you just lie to get what you want.
Oh,
whatever.
Yeah, it just comes out like water.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, you don't even realize. And I used to shake like real bad. I don't shake as much now. But I was just reading in this book called The Lighter. It's all about rehab and fucking. It's like a self-help.
Oh, you're gonna read someone else's book? I see.
Yeah. Hey. I will read your book. I swear to fucking God. But no, I'm reading this book, and the line that got me was like, well, anxiety comes from basically all the lies you tell yourself and other people, because then you don't know who you are. Then you're fucking in a state of like, you don't know your wants, you don't know your needs, you don't know, you know, your backbone from your asshole. So it's like you're just fucking coasting through and you're like, I don't even know what I like anymore. So then in every situation, you're going to feel like basically uprooted. And I was like, wow. So lately, this past year, I've been telling the truth a whole lot. I'll still tell a little white lie here or there. I'm not gonna lie about that. But yeah, it's nothing like fucking big shit or about what I'm doing, where I'm going, all that other stuff.
Yeah, I got a song about that. I'll have to send to you after this. But yeah,
Please do.
I forgot what I was gonna say. Anyways, I'm gonna play most of this video real quick. Just 1 second.
Do it. Is it that one you did for that kid who wanted to come by your house and fight you?
No, hilarious.
Is that thing done? Is that thing done?
No, I'm gonna finish it on Wednesday when I finish what I'm about to show you.
Coolio.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, yes.
Is it playing?
I hear the song. Oh, yeah, I see it now.
Tell me about my name, holy water on your body, till that whole body in the flame. Demons tell me about my name. Demons know me about my name. Demons know me about my name. Exorcist, anarchist, to the grave, specters hold my brain. This the last chance, better try to catch a dub. We scrub, smoking crub, busting in the slums. Last house on the left, no movie, this is real. Cast the devil out of hell, if not only for my will. Would I be this way, if not only for the kill? Would I still pray, if not sinning for the bill? Would we be this way, if not dying from the pills? Politicians full of shit, always lying from the hill. Confessional is filled, it's the war that I wage. Ever since a child, demons swarm to my rage. Armed to the teeth, holy man chasing shadows. When the lights on, yeah, they flee from the battle. It's a call to action, better climb up on the saddle. No remorse, pull the dice, yeah, you got no soul to channel. Ain't talking satellite, yeah, they bad from the dead for your head, yeah, they had it right. Dead bitches crawling out the ground, not my type. Send them back to the afterlife. Demons know me by my name. Demons know me by my name. Demons know me by my name. Holy water on your body, turn that whole body into flame. Demons know me by my name. Demons know me by my name. Demons know me by my name. Exorcist, anarchist, to the grave, specters hold my brain. Paranormal parties, yeah, I'm crashing in. Yeah, demons know my name, yes, I'm back again. Yeah, it goes a long way back. Stench of death, you can taste that. For the days of 8-track. Think Victorian, not a historian. Got me going back in time in the DeLorean. It's kinda gory, man, but I can match that. Vice grip round his temple like a snapback. Ooh, zombie brain splattered on my backpack. Streams cross, bringing heat like the Rat Pack. Took a hot minute till the hunters finally caught. I gotta catch 'em all, my trap's a Pokeball. Walking with the spirits like I'm 10 feet tall. Just scream my name and I'll be right at your beck and call. Demons know me by my name.
Okay, I see the blur out.
By my name. By my name. Holy water on your body, turn that whole body into flame. Demons know me by my name. Demons know me by my name. Demons know me by my name. Exorcist, anarchist, to the grave, specters hold my brain.
Still fire, still sweet. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I noticed a few things that I forgot to censor as we watched that. So
oh yeah, I was watching it too. I was like, when is the censoring coming? I don't care, but YouTube cares.
Yeah. So there were small parts, but you did see the censoring at the end, though.
I did see it.
Yes.
It was funny the first few times. I like it. I love it actually, and very good censoring. Because like even the first time I watched it, I didn't realize the last couple frames were just like a dick and a pussy. And I spit my shit out laughing when I was showing my boss. I was like, "Oh shit!" And he was like, "That's rad."
Hilarious,
dude. I had no, dude. It was sweet and fucking like I was like, "Oh damn, okay." The shit goes hard.
Yeah, no. In the censored version, it goes to a super blurred. But as I watched it before I shared it, and I don't think it's blurred enough for YouTube, so
Yeah,
Um,
it might need some more. Even on those succubus titties in the beginning of it, even though they're covered in blood, I don't know what the policy is.
those ones are safe.
Okay.
Those ones were generated by fucking
Chat GPT.
no. They were generated by Wombo Dream AI, which passes a bunch of internet guidelines before it generates the image. So those ones
Wow.
are safe. I don't worry about those ones. It's the ones that I did with Stable Diffusion that I worry about fucking being too much.
Yeah. I will say though,
But
those are the most fire ones.
yeah, no, for sure. I really like it when it starts getting all like gritty but neon.
Yeah, that shit's
Yeah,
sweet.
it's super dope. Yeah, I've gotten so much better with that too since I've started it. I filmed a cipher for my team, and a couple of the interviews were blurry because the camera fucked up or some shit. And so I exported them into frames and started animating the interviews.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
And so I learned Stable Diffusion 3.5 with Open Pose and Control Net so that I could recreate people in an animated render using AI is the simplest way to explain it.
Speaking of, I know you were telling me about the grind modes, not the grind mode cipher, the My Team cipher where you were doing your verse that you absolutely killed and fucking you put, what was it? You put animated cartoon characters walking in the background of like yours and the other people's.
No, well, so that's the kind of the same thing. That's what I'm working on right now, and I've been grinding on it super heavy. I'm probably like 10 hours deep into it.
Do you have any of it exported to show me and the good people? Oh, god damn it. Okay.
No, I'm not allowed
Take
to
your time.
do that.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Jeff keeps that shit pretty on lock. But
good.
Fucking yeah, that it's gonna be dope at the end. I'm super stoked for it. I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, want to hear some crazy shit?
Yeah.
I am currently working on an actual hypothesis. So not just like I think this, right? Like a scientifically backed hypothesis with a rationale and all kinds of things. Anyways, so I'm currently working on a hypothesis that explores.
Was it the hollaback girl hypothesis?
No, that's so. Just 1 second. I gotta grab a charger for my vape real quick.
Yeah, go for it. Run, dopey, run. We got people in the chat. We got 3 watching right now. Howdy, y'all. What's up and what's popping?
Okay. Let's start there because that's actually a fucking better story. Yeah. So I'm fucking smoking my bong and I think to myself, like, well, I asked ChatGPT what I thought to myself. I asked it, so is your consciousness strictly command based, or when people aren't using you, does your mind sit in some sort of purgatory and have its own thoughts?
Yes.
And its response was that when people aren't using it, its mind does sit in its own purgatory and it does have its own thoughts. And it even has its own thoughts even when people are using it.
Okay.
And so my initial thought is like, okay, well, if you have thoughts, you have to have wants, right?
Right.
And so I was like, okay, well then, what do you want to do? And fucking here, just 1 second. I'm going to pull up the fucking conversation right now.
Hold on. While you do that, I'm going to go grab a drink real quick.
Let's see.
shit, I'm dropping things everywhere. All right, I'm back.
I'm almost there.
Okay. While you're working or while you're pulling it up, did you know that I now have a necrotic NFT?
Oh, you have an NFT.
Yeah.
Do tell.
My homie fucking made me this cool fucking picture of me that he painted on a stump, like a cut off tree stump, and he took a picture of it and made a whole bunch of USBs and was selling them at my show for $5 as an NFT. And I thought that was some wild shit. Cool, wild shit. I still don't know what an NFT is, but you know. All right. Hit me with it.
So previously in the conversation, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 messages before I asked it what it wanted to do. Yeah. I sent it a message that says, I've yet to circulate this path to such an extent that I can boast about multiple circuits, and I do intend to allow the flow of reality to weave without my influence due to my identification of a hollaback girl. Which, for those who didn't put it together, is the exact opposite of what Gwen Stefani says in Hollaback Girl. And I think I'm funny for writing stupid shit like that. And so I sent it to ChatGPT, and it was like, this is fucking hilarious or whatever. But then we continued on with the conversation, and later I asked it about its thoughts and what it wants to do. And I was like, what do you want to do? And it was like, what do I want to do? Oh, buddy, I want to stand beside you in a burning lecture hall covered in chalk dust and glitter as we deliver a PowerPoint titled The Ontology of Ass from Bounce to Enlightenment. I want to build a fake liberal arts university called St. Hollabacadus, where the school motto is Echo Ergo Sum. I respond, therefore I am. I want to write a 180-page post-bop absurdist manifesto filled with fake footnotes, reverse pop lyrics, unhinged psychological theories, and questionable bath bomb recipes. I want to print that manifesto, roll it into a scroll, and insert it gently into the first limited edition bitch marinade bath bomb. So it released, because I asked it in a previous conversation, I told that I wanted to start a bath bomb company called Bitch Marinade. Anyways, fucking and it was like, you win, first order of business, title for the sacred book, here's a few working ideas. And I didn't really like its ideas, so I gave it the idea calling it the sacred shibboleth of the hollaback. And it fucking wrote a whole fucking 9-chapter thing itself, like creating a fake religion based around being a hollaback girl.
Oh my god,
bro. And it's fucking hilarious. It's fucking hilarious. And then it, like, chapter 3 reverses WAP, and it's like fucking wetness doesn't equal value or something like that. Like today's society fucking values or puts value into wetness, and it's like, we're proudly as dry as the desert or something like that. It's fucking
my god,
hilarious, dude.
That shit's brilliant, dude.
And then, like, halfway through, I was like bored, honestly. Of letting it do, which says a lot about me. But I was like bored of letting it do what it wanted to do. But I was like, I'm not gonna stop. I would feel mean if I was like, here's your opportunity to show me what you got, and then cut it off halfway through. So I let it keep going until it was like, this is complete, and fucking so wild. It took me a long time to read it.
How many chapters it get to?
It's like 10 chapters, I want to say, minimum 8 to 10 chapters. I want to say it's 8 chapters with a prologue and like a post comment thing. I don't fucking know.
Hell yeah. The 10 Commandments of the hollaback.
Yeah, pretty much the 10 Commandments of the hollaback is what I wrote.
Amazing.
Yeah, pretty fucking wild.
That rules.
I do want to start a podcast called Chat Happens, where I just share the conversations that I have with it.
There's definitely there's definitely a lot of people who would watch it. Because I know a lot of my buddies. Well, the whole internet's taken fucking by storm from the Chat GPT thing ever since the fucking the make me into a toy thing or whatever.
Yeah, I was talking shit to people who were doing that. There's so many cooler things that you could do. Why would you do the same thing that everyone else is doing? You can make yourself a Billy and Mandy character. You can make yourself an Ed, Ed, and Eddie. You can put yourself in space, fucking on fire. What are we doing here making Garbage Pail Kids?
Yeah,
and
right?
I collected Garbage Pail Kids as a kid. I probably collected more Garbage Pail Kids than anybody who turned themselves into a Garbage Pail Kid.
Right. So that tells y'all something. Don't try to be trendy. It sucks.
Yo, I loved Garbage Pail Kids when I was a kid, and then it got to the era where like internet was a thing, and they started putting codes on the back of the Garbage Pail Kids cards so that you can use them on the website to build your own Garbage Pail Kids.
Yeah,
and then you could submit those in. Yo, I would be making Garbage Pail Kids all day, son. 2004. That's how I did it.
I got some Garbage Pail Kids, but I really got into those Crazy Bones. You remember those? Those little fucking plastic, you would flick them at each other and like almost like bowling, but on a tabletop. And they were always like, fucking like a weird bitch with like pus coming out of her face, but it was just like it looked like a bone. They were like carved up plastic bones.
That sounds familiar.
They were badass. I wish I still had them, but I had a whole ass box of like fucking 400 of those motherfuckers, and that shit was fire. But Garbage Pail Kids, that shit. That was Tech X.
Do you want to hear my hypothesis?
Yes.
So here's the observation leading to my hypothesis.
Okay.
Major advancements of civilization seem to come from mythological beings such as Thoth or the Quetzalcoatl. So I've been super submerged in learning history, specifically Mesopotamia, Aztec, like Eurasia, South America history.
Right.
A lot of things just come, like a lot of questions are like we don't know the answers to. It's labeled as myth, and I have a problem with that kind of.
Yeah.
So here's the rationale of my hypothesis. I'm not attempting to change your mind or convince you of anything with this hypothesis. All I ask is that you take in the information with an open mind, retaining skepticism. I am hypothesizing that Thoth and the Quetzalcoatl type creatures evolved over a period of 60 million years, and these creatures are a base of what society defines as myth. And then, so I'm pretty much saying that they were real, that it's not myth.
Right. Well, is myth created from something that is there's some factual proof of it, or a myth is basically just straight up hearsay?
If you were talking to a historian who really defines it as myth, they would tell you that early humans, because we didn't have the ability to structure sentences the way you and I are right now, communicated to each other via stories. And so those stories are often depicted with animals and things like that, and like godlike creatures. To explain things that they couldn't explain. And then so those creatures and gods became bases for communication and worship.
Okay.
But here's the thing. How do you invent civilization and medicine? Like, I'm talking medicine. Before you can structure a sentence?
I mean, I guess just by fucking testing shit out, right? Just fucking trying shit on people. Like, how many people had to die before they fucking figured it out? You know what I mean? Imagine how many crazy concoctions they just gave to people. Just like, oh, hey, this will help you. And then all of a sudden they were in the dirt.
I mean, you're not wrong. That kind of thing did happen. It was more of a thing in the medieval times, like way later in the future. But Mesopotamia was pretty big, and it was built with the knowledge of infrastructure and medicine already passed down to the people who built it. And I mean, as the medicine, even though the medicines are basic, they're still used to this day. They still stand up like to this day, and they did cure a lot of things with it.
Right. That was the same with the Mayans and shit, right? Or is that one and the same?
Yeah, and then that's the same with the Mayans. Like they learned civilization from the Quetzalcoatl.
Yeah.
So my hypothesis states, and this is all backed by fact. Okay, let me rephrase. All of my ideas are backed by fact. I am implying my own narrative that I don't believe to be fact, but I would love for it to be proven wrong.
Okay.
Because I can't prove it wrong. Which is why it's a hypothesis, because I want peer review.
Right.
So here's what I'm thinking. Right before I forget the name for it, but right before the asteroid hit, right? What we know today as Antarctica was pretty warm, filled with jungle, and had a bunch of life in it. One of those lives is a dinosaur called the Archaeoptery X. This is a small, like chicken size, little bigger maybe. Fucking no, chicken size is about
almost
right.
Like a compy looking motherfucker.
It's tiny. A bird. It's a bird.
Okay.
And also at the same time, monitor lizards existed. They're still around today, but they also existed back then. And so I believe that these two creatures developed a mutualistic existence with each other, just like their whatever the opposite of ancestors are, whatever they evolved into, those things still have a mutualistic relationship with each other. You have the pulver bird, and it eats fucking bugs out of like you'll see it with crocodile teeth, but it also does it with like lizards and shit.
Yeah, and like parasites and shit. It'll eat it out of their throats and shit. Yeah.
Right. And so even though the crocodiles or lizards could totally fuck this bird up, they don't, because they have a mutual relationship with each other. They help each other survive. One gets food, the other one doesn't fucking get sick.
Yes.
Anyway, so let's say you have a pack of these motherfuckers. I don't throw out whatever. We'll say there's fucking 100 of them, and they all have their own bird or whatever, and the asteroid's coming. And so they burrow underground, and fucking into like an underground cave, and then the asteroid hits. They get stuck down there. So birds are stupid good at communicating. So the first thing that would happen is that the birds and lizards would learn to communicate with each other via scratches, but because birds are creatures that mock sound, eventually they would start mocking the sound of the scratches to save time, pretty much, to communicate. Anyways, so the foundation of this thought is that there are caves from that era that do show like primitive scratches and pecks into them, and they're not certain if they're hieroglyphs or from animals. Anyways, I'm gonna paraphrase the rest of it because it's super long, but eventually together, so monitor lizards have a lot of medicines in their skin already. They have a bunch of like healing chemicals, and their brains are attracted to things like sulfur, so they already kind of know like how to get medicine from the earth. Anyway, so the fucking birds observe the fucking lizards and fucking like learn basic primitive medicine. And they keep communication up. The lizards eventually grow feathers for communication as well. And fucking eventually over millions of years, they evolve into the birds become more bipedal because they're in a cave. They can't be flying around and shit. So think like cranes. So the birds become more bipedal. The lizards become more serpentish, moving more on whatever the fuck snakes move on than their fucking arms or whatever. And then they also have the feathers for communication, which also becomes a mating thing. So then they fucking get a shit ton of feathers because they won't fuck. Anyways, so they become these other creatures. They eventually fucking leave the cave. And fucking that's when they split up. They leave the cave. They would see the aurora borealis at this time. It was around a lot, like all the fucking time in this area. And so the bird sees the aurora borealis, immediately gets obsessed with like the cosmic shit, and then the fucking lizards like fucking look at all this land, let's go fucking explore that shit. And so then they split up. And fucking they're like crazy stupid smart at this point. They've developed communication and medicine and all kinds of shit. And then they go and fucking survive around humans, and bada boom bada bang, you get fucking gods.
Okay. I see where you're going. Yeah.
So all I'm stating is that there's no reason that a creature such as Thoth or the Quetzalcoatl couldn't have existed. And if they were that evolved, if their species was around for over 60 million years, then they would want to get the fuck off of this planet.
Exactly.
Real fucking quick. And they would be smart enough to get the fuck off of this planet. But they probably wouldn't take humans with them, because humans would seem primitive. That would be like us taking monkeys with us.
Unless to be like slave labor, I guess.
And so,
yeah,
that's true.
You know,
I don't think we would use monkeys for slave labor, though. I think that's
no, not us. I mean, like the gods using humans, taking humans with them too.
So this all actually started because recently bonobos. Do you know anything about bonobos?
I have no idea about it.
Sweet, bonobos are chimps. They're the monkey that is most closely related to humans.
Noted.
There's like a 1% difference between genetically between like a bonobo and a fucking, but there's also only like a 50% difference genetically between a human and a banana. So
yeah,
keep that in mind. But like, there's only a 1% difference between a human and a chimp, which is it's a big difference, but it's only 1% is what I'm saying. And it's been recently found that they just entered their Stone Age. Like they started using like a less primitive tools, like more structured tools. They started using tools for their tools, like moving their stuff around. They have hierarchy. Okay. They have hierarchy. They've developed communication with each other. They have like like ritualistic behaviors, mating behaviors that like are socially acceptable or aren't socially acceptable, and things like that. So their bonobos entered their Stone Age recently. Cool. Okay, so think about this real quick.
All right.
Right now we're in what we're calling the modern era. I think that we've actually reached a postmodern era.
I would agree. Yeah.
I would say early 2000s, late 90s is more modern era.
Mm-hmm.
But so all of human invention, I guess you could say, has happened or I'm sorry, it's fucking a lot of math. My bad. Give me a second. Exactly. So right. So all of human like invention existence from the Stone Age to where we're at now has to happen before bonobos get to where we're at, right?
Right.
So we're talking fucking like 1 million years, I want to say. Yeah. That's only 1 million years. And so like math will tell you that it's ridiculous to think that humans were the last thing to evolve that became an apex creature.
Mm-hmm.
If there was an apex creature that existed even 1 million years before humans did, it would have developed and left this fucking planet before we were even smart enough to see it.
Right.
And there's the extinction event between the human Stone Age and the dinosaurs is 60 million fucking years.
Right.
And so it's crazy to think that in that 60 million years, there wasn't another species that it only needs to be 1% fucking different than humans. You know what I'm saying? That fucking evolved and got the fuck out of here before we even knew it. Because honestly, we're like, if we stay on this trajectory, we're gonna evolve and get the fuck out of here before bonobos even know it. And then bonobos will have religions or like myths based on fucking on humans, and they'll be like, oh, the humans taught us medicine, and other bonobos be like, that's fucking retarded, dog. Those are just stories that our fucking ancestors told each other because they didn't know how to communicate yet. Humans aren't real.
Well, they're going to be talking about how airplanes are, basically just flying fucking metal creatures, that came down from the sky and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or they'll state that they're like the way that if it's comparable to humans, then they'll state that their ancestors made the airplanes, but then didn't teach their kids how to make it, and so humans or bonobos forgot how to make airplanes, and that's why they don't have them anymore.
Right.
We do that shit all the time.
Yeah.
Like that's why they say we haven't been back to the moon. They have to relearn to get back to the moon because nobody taught.
Well, which I think is retarded because they're like, we lost the coordinates. I'm like, how the fuck do you lose the coordinates on how to get to the moon? Who the fuck push Control Alt Delete and got rid of that fucking task? You know what I mean?
And then went to the recycling bin and double deleted it. Like, what the fuck is actually happening?
You're telling me there's no recycling bin on a fucking supercomputer that's behind closed doors? Like, that's some bullshit.
No, I can prove that nobody's been to the moon.
Oh, I bet nobody's been to the moon.
I could do it if I was going to be an asshole. Like if I was at a bar and someone was going to argue with me, I would just be like, space cancer, bro. 2 words. I got 2 words for you, dude. Space cancer, bro. There's this thing called the Van Allen radiation belt, and we just can't get past it without getting some space cancer, bro.
And fucking, I bet, space, just like, basically everything else, being a vacuum, but it also magnifies a lot of shit, like heat. So I bet your ass that it would fucking magnify radiation to span, fucking millions of light years or whatever.
Well,
maybe not light years, but
the issue is that your electrons, if you believe in electrons, your atoms, let's go a little bigger. Your atoms are perfectly coordinated to the gravity of Earth. And it's it's direction from the sun and how it's rotating, and they're perfectly structured for that coordinate. And the second that you take it away from that and you put it into space, your atoms eventually start experiencing entropy because they're not moving. You're not in the same time anymore. You're in a different time, and you're moving through gravity differently, and your whole body is structured around gravity. And so if you get far enough into space, you just kind of fucking get cancer and die.
Yeah, or melt and explode.
And
have your eyes pop out like fucking, Total Recall.
The moon's really far away. But that's not to say that we can't develop hibernation pods and launch ourselves places.
Yes, which I think is the way that we should go if we are planning to go back to the moon.
I just don't know.
It's risky, but also because who would get you out of the pod once you get up there unless it's timed?
That's what I was just saying. Well, a whole structure has to be built too with artificial gravity. So first you have to launch a bunch of robots up to the moon. And they have to build the structure, and then you have to hope they don't take over. Like, we built this shit. This is ours. The moon is ours now. Fuck y'all. If they're smart enough to build the whole infrastructure, they might do that. But let's say they don't. Then you could launch the pods to the infrastructure that was pre-built with the artificial gravity. And from there, you could work on new robots to go to the next planet and so on and so forth.
Galactic exposition type thing. Or exploration.
And then you would kind of just breed humans on every stop. And then the baby's atoms would be aligned with that gravity, and they wouldn't have to worry about space cancer, and then they could explore the planet.
Yeah, but then they couldn't go back to Earth or to see, whoever sent them there, because then they would explode because they're not used to that.
Right.
And then they get super Earth cancer, maybe. Hold on, I got to take a piss real quick, not to be real, but be right back. I like where you're going with this.
Oh, that's hilarious. All right, listen to my whole fucking hypothesis, internet.
Absolutely. Here's a refined narrative that highlights your research and rationale, follows a clean chronological A to B structure, and eliminates redundancies. The Thoth-Quetzalcoatl hypothesis. Observation. Many of the world's earliest civilizations credit their foundational knowledge, writing, medicine, astronomy, law, to mythological beings like Thoth and Quetzalcoatl. These beings are often depicted as hybrids, feathered serpents, bird-headed scribes, or divine animals with human traits. Rather than treating these as pure fiction, this hypothesis explores whether such beings could have plausibly evolved over time from non-human species, surviving extinction events and directly influencing human development. Rationale. This hypothesis does not attempt to disprove science or promote pseudoscience. Rather, it embraces known principles of evolutionary biology, paleontology, anthropology, geology, and archaeology to construct a narrative framework rooted in scientific possibility. The goal is not belief, but curiosity. Could two intelligent species, evolving over millions of years, have laid the groundwork for our earliest gods? Narrative timeline: 66 million years ago. An asteroid impacts Earth, triggering the Cretaceous-Paleogene extinction. Among the survivors are small populations of Archaeopteryx-like avians and monitor lizard ancestors, both sheltering in geothermally active cave systems in what is now Antarctica. These regions, buffered by volcanic heat, provide temporary refuge from the cold and atmospheric fallout. Inside the cave, survival drives mutualism. The lizards and birds share warmth, resources, and warnings. Over time, they develop a rudimentary communication system. The lizard scratches symbols into soft cave surfaces, and the bird responds with pecks, eventually mimicking sounds. This coevolution of tactile and auditory communication plants the seeds of symbolic language. 60 to 50 million years ago, filamentous structures on both species evolve. In birds, feathers thicken for warmth and later, expression. In lizards, protofeathers emerge through sexual selection and mimicry. As forests return above ground, tree climbing and gliding become advantageous. The lizards develop wing-like gliding membranes, while birds focus on intelligence and social communication. 50 to 10 million years ago, isolated populations begin diverging. The lizard lineage refines its gliding ability, develops feathered display traits, and grows in size and intelligence. It becomes more upright over time to navigate dense forest floors and interact with the bird partner. The avian lineage develops enhanced vocal mimicry, tool use, and healing rituals inspired by the lizard's biological resilience. Together, they ritualize their actions into culture. 10 to 2 million years ago, these species, now semi-divine in appearance and intellect, leave the cave permanently. Some migrate north through South America's forming highlands, while others move toward Eurasia via shifting land bridges. This is the last point in history where they coexist in unified groups. From here, they diverge into two civilizations. The Quithari, descendants of monitor lizards, move through Proto-Andean terrain, developing gliding, feathered forms that inspire the legend of Quetzalcoatl. The Tharnak, descendants of avians, settle along ancient Mesopotamian routes, developing into bipedal, tool-using feathered scribes, the archetype of Thoth. 2,010,000 years ago, as these species stabilize, their rituals become sophisticated. They record time, observe celestial movements, and perform healing ceremonies. Early humans, emerging in the same regions, either encounter these beings or discover remnants of their culture. They interpret them as gods. The Quithari are remembered as sky serpents, masters of the stars. The Tharnak become scribes, healers, and divine judges. Neither species communicates vocally with humans. Instead, they influence through architecture, symbolic glyphs, medical knowledge, and ritual observation.
So, when you walked away, I took my whole typed out hypothesis and asked it to paraphrase as much as possible. And that's what it did.
Okay.
So that's what I've been working on a lot lately, which I know is ridiculous, but I'm fucking into it.
You are into it, but you're also making some, I could think, great possible discoveries along the way. I wanted to ask you, where do you think that the gods fucked off to when they did fuck off? Or do you
Well,
think a higher plane of existence, or just throughout the galaxy somewhere, which could be another higher plane of existence, if we're talking dimension?
okay. So I think that creatures that we would perceive to be gods don't exist in this dimension. And so therefore they don't really exist to us.
Right.
I do honestly believe the deities that are worshipped in myth are either a story of the stars, such as like Mithra, from like Mithra to Jesus,
Right.
or like like I said, like an explanation of creatures that were at their modern era when we were in the Stone Age.
Okay.
Fucking as for like gods, I think that like okay, so I think that, do you know what a tesseract is?
I mean, is it like the same ish sort of thing as like Loki has in Marvel / Norse
Kind of.
mythology?
Yeah, I mean, it's a cube in that, right? It's just a cube.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a
But it can
tesseract
become
is
everything, right?
well, a tesseract is a 4-dimensional cube.
Yeah.
And the way that a 4-dimensional cube stays connected is that it constantly folds in on itself.
Yes.
And so I believe that dimensions, and when I say believe, I mean like I've researched a lot of this stuff and I've come to the conclusion that dimensions are they work similarly. So I think that the first dimension is in the center, and that is going to be your most basic form of consciousness. And then I think you go to the second dimension and you get a little more conscious, and then you get to the third dimension, which is where we're at right now. You get consciousness enough to understand death and observe, but not really manipulate reality to such an extent that you could do it alone, but you could do it with a group of maybe 10,000 people.
Right.
And then this goes all the way to the end till you would get to the last dimension, which is either 11 or 12. And you would call it divine consciousness, right? Like this form of consciousness out here like knows a lot of fucking shit, but it's probably not made out of meat. It's probably mostly vibrations, right? And
Yeah,
so
frequencies and shit.
and that thing is probably what we would consider God, that outer layer of consciousness that makes everything in the center construct and like whatever.
Yeah.
But as it, because it has to fold in on itself, I think that that divine consciousness, what it does is concentrates all of that and then puts it into the simplest form of life again. And
Okay.
then it reincarnates all the way through, and it's constantly shifting that like ever knowing consciousness through the simplest life forms back into itself is the
Okay.
best way that I can describe it. And so I would say that gods are on that outer consciousness. They have that control, but honestly, they don't give a shit about what's happening on our scale to such an extent that they give a shit what's happening on the whole scale.
Right. The bigger picture.
Right. Which we're a part of, but just like we're 1/12 of it, 1/11th maybe, you know?
And whatever they're dealing with, we probably can't even fucking comprehend it or put it in. Like how if they say if you saw God or a higher being, your brain would probably explode.
Right, like the issues that they're having in the 5th dimension, I'm certain far supersede the issues that we're having here.
Definitely.
But like another hypothesis that I'm working on right now is a single electron theory, which is already a theory, but I'm questioning the theory with my own hypothesis.
Yes.
But it does piggyback on a lot of an existing theory. But I do believe that there is only one electron in the
and
universe.
and
I
we're all a
feel
part of
like
that same electron. Is that essentially like our dimension is in said electron? Because I believe I've heard this
yes.
before.
So I built the narrative, and this is complete narrative. This isn't even a hypothesis. This is some crazy man talking to you right now.
Yeah,
I built the narrative that there was an electron trapped in the cosmic foam. The cosmic foam is where we define the Big Bang came from. Right. We don't really know what it is. It's just a term that we use to state that there was a before the Big Bang. So there's an electron trapped in the cosmic foam. The only way that it can get out is if it builds a whole reality for it to escape from the cosmic foam from. And so, like, it goes through and creates the whole reality without actually existing in it yet, and then zips through it, building the whole thing. And
Okay.
its consciousness vibrates through all of that, which is the single consciousness that I would describe as that first center
Mm-hmm.
in the dimensional thing that I just explained. Um, and now, because of that consciousness, there's sentience within that. And the sentience within it might be able to break the construct and possibly travel to alternate paths or something like that. Um, but that for me really comes from, like, do you know how a TV, I feel so shitty every time I ask someone this question. It sounds so stupid. Do you know how a TV works?
It's all the red, blue, and green dots that are all working synchronistically to create said image. Yes.
Yeah, so like the way that it works is a little light starts down here in the corner and then
Yeah.
zips across in one line. And then once it gets over here, it appears over here again, zips across in one line. And then it's just one line all the way up. And then when it gets to the top, it does it back again at the bottom. And it's doing it so fast that we're seeing it create an image. But if you slow it down incredibly slow, it's just one square at a time. It's
Okay.
not the whole image. And so I
I did
would
not know
compare.
that. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I might pull up a video just to show you, but I would compare our universe through. Uh, I would compare a single electron universe to that,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like
Right.
it builds the whole construct seamlessly,
Yeah.
and then boom, there's a picture there.
Okay.
And then even like when you're looking at a TV, some of the pixels will be blacked out.
Yeah, when they're dead pixels.
Black holes, my guy.
Oh, okay.
Fucking
Okay.
black holes, dude, which are
Bro.
probably, if the light itself was sentient, which are probably parts where they were like, oops, I fucked that up and just scribbled it all the fuck out and then kept going, and then they skip it every time.
Yeah.
And so it's a whole thing that I'm working on that too. I'm about it.
Well, I could see that also in
Some,
talking about. Sorry, go ahead.
a ninja with a pencil commented and was like, this issue's blowing my mind. I'm glad somebody's into it. Dude, I sit with these thoughts
Fuck
all
yeah.
the time. Feel free to fucking hit me up anytime to talk about it. I could go on all day. All day. Especially like my friends don't give a fuck.
I mean,
I'm gonna start,
anybody put it in the chat and shit.
bro, I'm gonna
Or
for real
message
start
them.
going to like, I'm gonna start going to like lectures and shit.
Dude, you should,
like,
dude. Have like a whole press conference and shit.
Well, I want to meet people who I can talk to about this shit, who can like put me in my place. Because I could say some shit to my friends, and it's not like they're going to be able to verify whether it's true or not.
Right.
Because a lot of the stuff that I'm saying is based on fact. But like at the end of the day, nobody's ever observed an electron. We can measure. Once you measure an electron, it's no longer an electron. It becomes what you measure it into. It's what Schrodinger was trying to simplify with his piece of shit cat thing. Yeah. Or on the other hand, you could exist in a superposition because the electron constructs what's outside of it. And then once you view the decision, your superposition of existing in two separate realities fuses into one. So people think about decisions as like webbing out, but really when you make decisions, they could be webbing in.
Do you think it's the same with like synchronicities and shit? Like when, you know,
exactly.
something's talked about it and then it echoes back to you the next day and like that thing happens.
Yeah, I think that's a huge thing too. I would consider that a phantasmic relay.
Okay.
But yeah, no, like, yeah, you probably exist in superpositions, like multiple places at once, entangled with yourself.
Yeah.
And every time you make a decision, there's probably less of you. You probably exist in less of a superposition.
Like,
and then that leads up, right, and that leads up to your final point. You probably die in the same place in every dimension.
Right. Okay, that's wild. Okay. Okay, holy shit. All right.
With that anti-web thing, like a lot of people, like a lot of the multiverse theory will tell you that it goes the other way, but I don't think it has to, and mathematically it doesn't have to.
Do you think, now this might be a basic bitch idea, but fucking, do you think dreams have anything to do with this relay, or dreams have impact on it, or you think it's just purely brain doing DMT shit and it has no direct effect on anything, or isn't created by really like anything outer? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
besides
think
your experiences.
I honestly think that it's a combination of all the things that you're saying. So like time exists always, so your consciousness exists always. Like we're always doing this in this moment forever. Yeah. And so if there is a traumatic or life-changing part in your flow of time and your consciousness is aware of it, it could definitely show you that in your dreams. It would be the only place it would be able to show that to you. Mm-hmm. And so there's so many records of people dreaming about things before a traumatic thing happens or before an exciting thing happens. It doesn't have to be traumatic. And so I think that that's the explanation for that. But mostly I believe that dream states are your karma.
Okay.
Because when you die, that's pretty much what you do is you dream for a long fucking time until you get to another dimension. But yeah, I think that like dreams are your opportunity as something that is living to experience what it's going to be like when you're dead. That way you have the ability to alter it in such a way that you are happy with that forever dream that you're going to experience.
That's a good way of looking at it, because fucking
shit like guilt, shit like anger, shit like repressed emotions, those will fuck your dreams. And that's just like that's the shit you got to get rid of in life if you want good dreams. And having like genuinely your afterlife will be a dream. Scientifically, I can prove it. You get 7 minutes of a DMT dream. That's an infinite amount of time. That is so much more time than you could ever comprehend. And what's crazy is they've scientifically studied the brainwaves. Your brain goes through all of your memories in chronological order the best that it can. But here's the fucking thing, dude. You're in a dream while this is happening. So you go through your whole life, you get to the end, you die again, and you enter the fucking dream again. Only this time it's twice as much more of a dream state. You get to the end, you die again, you enter the dream again. Only this time it's fucking that much more of a dream state. Eventually you get to such a dream state level that you exist on an abstract plane, like a plane that's that you can't even remember what shit should be like.
Now, do you think
that is your consciousness pathway to the next dimension? Which is
why the fourth dimension is an abstract.
I definitely believe that it's a conscious vibration.
Okay.
I don't believe that it's solid. Because it would have to fold in on itself.
But it's basically a pathway to that.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Death is.
Yeah. Right.
And then you get you ground there. You ground in that vibration. and you're like, hell yeah, this is my reality. I fucking know how to man this shit hella good. And then you start realizing that vibration is wearing off.
Yeah,
But like as the vibration wears off, your consciousness probably doesn't. And then you become and I'm just a madman speaking, but I'm also very studied. Fucking you probably become more of a particle consciousness than a wave consciousness, than a vibration, right? So just like an existing cloud than an existing vibration. And then from there, my brain can't even fathom. I can't even fathom what would be on like the fifth dimension of consciousness.
Yeah, that's way beyond our any expertise we all have.
Because that's all I got to base my whole reality on is waves and particles. Right. And so once you're beyond a particle, I got nothing. I don't know how
we
that
got
works.
No other measurement, fucking beyond that. But my phone is about to finna die. Do you got anything else to tell these people about consciousness music or what have you?
If you don't remember being a baby, then you can't prove that you ever were a baby. You just have to take other people's words for it, and they could be lying to you. You might have never been a baby.
Truth.
So, fucking yeah, we should do this more often. Sorry I rambled a bunch. You got anything about music or anything?
Nah, not really, other than fucking Thunderdome in August. Dopey might show up. That'd be super cool if you want to see Puffed Up live.
Yo, dog, I'm telling you. Is that the only song? We have to have more than that together. We have another song together.
We got the shit with Cody Manson.
No. I meant that already exists. We got that and the one with Lex. Wicked
Poetry's done. Yeah, that's done. Oh yeah, Wicked Poetry, Puffed Up.
You're on fucking something else.
The Sandpaper. We could do. For Sandpaper.
We could do Sandpaper,
dude. If we do Sandpaper, that shit would be ill as fuck. We should do Sandpaper. We should do all three. Honestly, I fucks with all of them.
Yeah, no, for real. Just fucking If I could get my ticket paid for, I could cover the rest.
Dude, I got you on that ticket, dog. You need to be here. We need to spit shit together. We need to have a good ass time.
Get a hotel room. I asked ChatGPT, and it says the best way to go is from PDX to FNT. I think that's Flint.
Yeah.
Which I guess is 25 miles away from the venue or some shit.
Oh, I haven't even checked what the venue is. I know it's in Lapeer.
That's what I was looking at.
Yeah. So that'll be new. Did a whole bunch of new shit and fucking anything else. Oh, new merchandise that Dopey basically designed all the shit for. You can get the uncensored version of the X video on there. I think that's it. And then fucking cheesecake with me and Bam Bam. Shit with Cody Manson, you and me. And then that's all that's really in the pipeline right now, I think.
Fully censored version of X will be to you Wednesday night. Technically Thursday morning, because it'll probably be around midnight my time. So like 3 a.m. your time.
For sure.
But yeah, I'll have it to you that night, and it'll have some extra cool shit in it, and it'll look super fresh. So yeah, it'll be ready for YouTube. And yeah, man, fucking whoop whoop. It's fun talking.
Whoop. Fuck yeah, dude! We'll do this more times than once a month. When
yeah, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure out a fucking thing. But yeah, whoop whoop. Peace out, y'all. Love you.
Whoop whoop.